All right, let me open up this chat bar. Okay, so as you were coming on into the room, please say hello. Would it help if the headphones were plugged in? Hello, ladies. Awesome. All right. Yes, I know. I've got a couple of you message me that you're going to be on a couple of minutes late. All good. We're going to give it a couple of minutes for everyone to get into the room. Hi, Mary Lou. Hi, Shayla. Hi, Marissa. Hi, Marana. Awesome. Well, this is interesting. Hold on. Let me go up here. And Nicole is on and Svetlana. Okay. I'm going to close that window. See if, there we go. Oh, you are welcome. You're welcome. Yes. Good old Candida. You know, Candida, I'll just kind of riff for a little bit while we're waiting for some other people to hop on in. Hi, Nicole. Candida is, oh God, it's so pervasive. And to be honest with you, I mean, all of us have some level of Candida bacterial overgrowth in our system, whether it is in the gut, in the intestinal tract, high up, low down. It really is about how far has it moved into our system? How systemic has it become? Anytime there's leaky gut, Candida and yeast overgrowth and negative bacteria is going to be part of the picture. Oftentimes when we are using a gut healing protocol, a liver detoxification protocol, that tends to be enough of a beginning for people to start to get some relief from the chronic gas and the bloating and the oral thrush on the mouth, yeast infections, those types of things. Sometimes though, and it doesn't happen all the time. I've actually only ever had it happen twice throughout running the Hormone Project, is where things actually kind of flare up. And it's because we heal from the most superficial layer down. And yes, you can. So no, you cannot have Candida on the outside of the body, but not inside. It is coming from the inside out. So things like excessive earwax, excessive Candida, dandruff rather, or like cradle cap that adults will get on their heads, toenail fungus, athlete's foot, those types of things, different types of rashes that can look like eczema but are actually Candida on the system. But no, it's not an outside in thing. It starts from the inside and works its way out. And like I said, all of us have a certain amount of it in our body, but the gut does a really good job at being able to contain it. When the gut becomes porous, when it has been punctured, when it becomes leaky gut, these bacteria now make their way out into our system, and this is what starts to kind of wreak havoc. And what I was saying is that sometimes when you start to work at taking off or sloughing off the top layers of signs and symptoms, and you start to do a deeper level of healing, your body can sometimes feel worse than it did before you started the process, because as we start to, like I said, heal from the top down, it's like kind of ripping the Band-Aid off. You're not really too sure what is going to be under there. And sometimes as you start to take the inflammation away, you start to, clear up the debris that's on top, you really see what's actually going on underneath. This is what root cause healing is actually all about. We're trying to move away from this way of living where we're just micromanaging and stifling the symptoms deeper, right? So taking something to make your headache go away instantly, taking something to make your sinus infection go away instantly, taking something to make your gas and bloating go away instantly, taking something to make your back pain go away instantly. Those types of things, they're all forms of suppression. And so you can probably get away with suppression approaches for a period of time, but your body is creating a core memory deep inside. Your immune system is creating a core memory. Your organs and your various systems throughout your body are having to hold on to that and take weight of that for a period of time. And when you start to kind of like lift things off and the body can actually start to breathe, then it's like, oh my God, I have been hiding this and pushing this down for so long. And little by little, it starts to rise to the surface because there's not as many problems stacked on top of it. And now you might start to notice that you have these issues that you did not have before. It's very similar to, I keep looking down here because I can feel like, you know, when you have a hair somewhere, every now and again, I feel it. I can't find it. But you know, when a lot of you, well, not a lot of you, a couple of you have messaged me and said, you know, I'm feeling so much better in doing all of this, like on so many levels. But man, when I want to go out and just have a glass or two of wine or go and have some food that's maybe kind of off my protocol, I'm really paying for it. My body feels awful. And you know, there's no kind of way of getting around that other than sticking with this longer. We look at that as frustrating and annoying because sometimes we just want to like have fun and we want to like eat a piece of cake and have a couple glasses of wine and eat the nachos and do that without feeling like we have to pay for it. It's not that you have to pay for it the next day. It's just that you have now, you know, you have cleaned your filters. You have allowed your body to actually express itself how it wants to feel. I know our taste buds believe we want to have the chicken wings and the chocolate and the wine and the pizza and the ketchup chips and whatever else it is, but your body doesn't. It actually never wanted those things. We're just looking for different things that taste delicious and kind of numb down the day that we've had, or we've been conditioned by the whole weight loss industry that that's how we reward ourselves. That if we've been doing really good for so long, that the only way that you can, you know, give yourself a high five and support yourself and cheer yourself on is by then going and having something that's off plan. We've been taught it in this concept of an 80-20 rule of, you know, be good Sunday through Thursday, and then Friday and Saturday have your cheat meals. And it's like, you know, we're not cheating the system. We're not cheating our body. We've just been cheating ourselves of that optimal health. And then when you step outside of that and you start to spend more of your days eating good food and being hydrated and taking the supplements and doing all of that, when you start to veer away from it and you bring in more processed foods, foods that are higher in omega-6s and that cause inflammation, or something that has gluten or the alcohol, which it's typically like the sulfites and the sugars and the tannins, or the yeast if it's like a beer or something like that, your body is like, like I enjoyed it so much more when you weren't fogging me up and weighing me down. So it gives you those feelings of not feeling well because your body is ultimately saying, please don't do this anymore. We just haven't caught up yet up here because, again, we are disappointed by it because we just want to have fun. We just want to let loose, and that's what we associate having fun and rewarding ourselves and having a good time with, is having crappy food and drinks. And I get it. Trust me, I get it. You know, over the last few years have finally just like put the white flag up and been like, okay, body, I hear you loud and clear. It'll be 3 years, New Year's, that I have actually been drunk because the last time that I did, I was so violently ill that it literally lasted me for a week. And I was just like, I'm done. Every time I had more than a couple glasses of alcohol, I would be throwing up. And I was like, this is insane. My body, I found the hair. My body is trying to tell me something. Why do I keep telling it to shut up and take this stuff and put it into my system and then have a horrible reaction on the other side of it? So I know it's fucking annoying. It's so annoying in the beginning. But I promise you, you start to adopt this as just like your way of life. It becomes just so normal to you. And then you just start to choose out of like a desire to feel good versus because you're not supposed to, or you're not allowed to, or it's not on your plan, or whatever it may be. And I think, to be honest with you, one of the hardest things, and this actually kind of ties into this art of simplicity that we're talking about tonight, one of the hardest things is that we can fully feel this in our bodies. And we, all of us sitting here on this call tonight who have been part of this program, heard this kind of information, you know, maybe before, is that we know in like every cell of our body, we know that what I'm saying is true. And so we can try and live our life in that way, but then we get into a social setting where nobody else thinks this way. Nobody else gives two hoots about this. They're all the antithesis of that. They all want everybody to be, you know, doing the party stuff with them or having the not healthy stuff with them because, you know, that we like, we want to have a partner in that. It makes us feel better about it. And we'll oftentimes feel pressure, or we feel guilt, or we feel shame, or we feel like there's something wrong with us. Because let me tell you, when people aren't in touch with their own vitality, when people actually don't know what feeling good feels like, they don't understand why you would choose to eat healthy, or why you would choose to buy different products, or not have the drink, or go to bed at a decent time, or go for a walk instead of, doing a CrossFit class. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, it's this polarity, and it can feel very isolating. I have felt like I've lived on an island for the majority of my life when it comes to my lifestyle. And I built a really cushy island where I just, took up shop and enjoyed living there. And little by little, people started to ask if they could visit my island. And that's where I built a business out of. So I know that's like, I don't even know how I got there, but that's a long-winded intro to this class tonight. But I think it's actually a great place to go off talking about mastering this art of simplicity, because so much of what your body is asking you for is, it is asking you for this. It's not asking for your family to join you. It's not asking for your spouse to join you 100%, for your neighbor, your girlfriends, your coworkers. Your body is communicating with you. This is like the most intimate relationship you have in your life, and it's the one that we actually put the smallest amount of energy into. And we can understand in a relationship with a partner, whether it's your girlfriend or boyfriend, or it's your children, how people in our life can sometimes feel abandoned, or we're not giving them enough attention, or that our work is more important, or that, whatever it else is. But we don't understand that we oftentimes are feeling like that. We feel abandoned on a core level. We feel like we're not giving ourselves enough time. And that's a hard thing to sometimes wrap your head around. We call it things like anxiety, depression, never enough time, never feel like I'm enough, not good enough. And we think that it's coming from the outside. We're taking it on from other people, the world's expectations of us, what everybody else is doing in their life, and why isn't that happening to us? But ultimately, I believe it comes from this core place of us that needs to be healed deep within, where we have this abandonment issue with ourselves. There is a deep other version of you inside that is just begging for your attention, that is begging for your love, that is begging for your affection, that is begging for your quality time. And this is why your body is communicating with you in whatever form or shape or test or symptom or sign it shows up in. Ultimately, at the core of it all, I believe this with every fiber and cell of my being, that our body is trying to gain our friendship and our love and our relationship again. That's what I really think this is all about. How does that sit with you when I say those things? Does that resonate with you? Does that click? Have you ever felt that before? Like, the person you're actually wishing you had more time of and more time for, and that is actually you. And have you felt that in those days and in those moments, when you give yourself more attention, when you show up to do the things that make you feel really good, do you know how you vibrate differently in the world? Do you know how, you show up better to your family, to your spouse, just to the world in general? Like, do you feel that? Like, communicate with me. This is a real question right now. So Shayla's saying yes. Anybody else? Definitely. There is, I have been feeling this pull. Yeah, put on the oxygen mask first, right? So like, again, we hear it. We hear all these things, absolutely, but really easy to get derailed. It's so easy to get derailed. I think one of the biggest reasons it's easy to get derailed is because every day life is coming up against this, right? Like our schedule from work, our kids' activities, the expectations of everything else that's going on. This is why it's so important. I wrote this post yesterday on Sunday, and I said, for me, Sundays are for editing. And that's not like editing things I've written in content. It's actually looking at the calendar. So it's looking at my family calendar, it's looking at my calendar, and then looking at that week ahead and being like, Am I excited about this week I'm about to live and step into? Or am I like, holy freaking shit? Like, why is there so much on this calendar? I can't do all of this. Do I sweat? Do my shoulders shrug up to my ears? Am I like, how can I get out of it? If I have that feeling, and I'm going to tell you, this has taken me years. I mean, years to get to this place, because way back when I would just do it. If it was in my calendar, I was like, no, this is what's expected of me, and I can't let people down. So I would just do it. And I burned myself out like I cannot even tell you. Like, trust me, I teach this because I have lived it. And so many people, they look from the outside in and they're like, you have your shit figured out all the time. And I'm like, do you want to walk around me with like a camera? Because no, I don't. It looks that way because the things I'm talking about, I have learned it by growing and painting through it. I have physically, mentally, and emotionally felt it, been there, done that, and bring this into what it is that I am teaching, because not enough people are talking about it. I have a whole new stream of consciousness of what I'm writing about and in my content that I'm releasing. It's very difficult. I think that if you're that woman where everybody comes to you for everything, you're the friend that everybody can talk to, you're the family member that can, ground everyone and bring them back to reality. You're, the parent that always does the full on taking care of the children and of the house. You're the cook, you're the one at work that will get the job done. Like, if you're that person in every area of your life, who do you have to go to? For instance, with your friends, if you are always the person that everyone is coming to because you're such a great listener and you always give advice, who have you left for you to go to? Because I can guarantee you, pretty much every time you're with friends, the conversation is going to end up with you helping them. So it doesn't leave a lot of room for you. What about in the house and in your work? Like, we are constantly teaching people how we are available for them and what to expect of us. And then when we need it for us, we have to pay to be part of a program. And it's like, I do it too. I have an energy healer I work with. And I was like, God, I had to actually pay someone that I could talk to so that I could feel some of the things I was feeling and express it without then feeling like I had to take care of the other person that I was talking to. Because that's what I do for a living, is I help and take care of people. So then when I need it, I've filtered those people out of my life, to be honest with you. And so it's, that's why programs like this and working with people, one-on-one or in a group format or getting Reiki or energy healing, honest to God, I believe that's the oxygen mask of life. You need to have other people or another person that you can communicate with in an unbiased way, in a way where you can be totally brutally honest and just let it come out. Because when you don't let those feelings and those emotions come out, when, like Miranda says, when you spend half your hours consciously trying to get your shoulders detached from your ears, they're not earrings and we wear them like that, it is taking up so much of your energy, and it is leaking so much of what we could be using towards our healing, towards, absorbing more of what we are actually eating and putting into our body, so that we see our vitamin D, our iron, our B vitamins start to draw up, that we are decreasing the amount of cortisol that our poor adrenals are pumping out, that are literally eating our progesterone and our magnesium and our B vitamins and our vitamin C, our zinc and our selenium. That if we were to actually stop living a life that makes us feel like we're pulling our hair would probably stop falling out. And it's having the conversation like this is the easy part. We could all sit here and throw in the hat our things that are stressing us out. But what do you do then? So we've acknowledged it. There's things that aren't working. So now where do you begin? What do you do? This is where the editing comes in. So when I look at my week and if I see, okay, I can't do all of this. I have had weeks where I've literally had to cancel everything. I have had to cancel everything and I have had to just totally introvert myself and just like close up shop, and be quiet and like live on the couch and drink tea for a week. I have had to do that before. It was actually one of the best things I ever did for myself. And I've had to do it multiple times. And if you got really, really sick, you would have to do this. I've just learned over the years, do these things for myself before I get sick. So if you're stuck in this perpetual state of feeling like, oh God, this is going to be the week, or I'm going to like let someone down, and or I'm going to get really sick, or something's going to happen, or the universe keeps dripping these little signs and symptoms on you. Like you're hearing about a lot of people that are being diagnosed with different diseases. You're hearing these awful stories of how, you know, people just had like their life kind of pulled out from under them, that something dramatic changed, that there was trauma that went on. And you just keep like, oh gosh, like there's all these things happening around me. Do you understand that that is the universe trying to get your attention? It is like literally a tap on the shoulder. Like you need to slow down and take account of your life and what actually matters and what needs to happen. And you need to be honest with your family. You need to be honest with your children. We can't be raising kids and building these relationships based on a fallacy, based on, you know, I am exhausted, but I'm just going to keep showing up all the time. It's teaching them to, in spite of how they're feeling, to keep plowing through and doing it over and over again. I mean, why do we all think that so many children have anxiety now, ADD and ADHD? Like, have you ever taken a moment to step back and look at the average child's schedule in life now? It's not even so much about the fact that they have sports or activities or school. When I was growing up, my mom was home for most of the time. So my dad was working. My mom was home until we were about 10. So in those like, you know, critical young years, and then went back to work. So we always had this like grounding energy there. Most children, both parents are working. There might be before and after school care. We're frazzled doing it. How do you think this is for them? There are some kids who are gone from their parents for 10 and 12 hours a day, every single day. Every single day. And then as soon as they are out of the after school care, they are then off to a sport and then off to that. And then they've got to get home and then they have homework to do. And then they've got to eat food. And like even talking about it, my temperature just jacked up like 20 degrees. And I could cry even thinking about that. For children, we are not the only ones feeling it. And women, moms, even if you think you're managing this awesome, if you're noticing these tendencies in your children, we aren't managing this awesome. Your whole endocrine system and nervous system is connected to the little beings in your home. It's connected to your pets. You have an injured pet. You have an ailing pet. You have an ailing parent. Like we have all of these. You can't see them, but there are all these cords and these tendrils that we are connected to all the things and the people that matter most in our life. And when something is happening to one of them, it pulls on that in us. And some of us rise up to that. Some of us thrive on that. That's how we get our energy, is by, you know, helping and responding into action for that. And for others, we pull back and it collapses us. It literally, like that cord, it's like an umbilical cord that was never cut, and all your energy is just cruising through that cord, and literally you're taking it out of you and just putting it into everything and everyone else. So if you can visualize that, all these cords, and you're having a really hard time already absorbing and digesting and uptaking into your body, and as soon as it goes into you, it's going out here to your kids, out here to your spouse, out here to your, like, it's going, whose cord, whose tube is refeeding you? Like, you have to take one of those cords, unplug it from something, and turn it back around and put it back into your body so that you're getting some of this. What are the small steps to do this? We talked about last week in like the meal planning and the budgeting that the first thing you have to do is look at your calendar. This is like in the body, when we talk about how to heal, the first thing that you go to is your gut. In your lifestyle, the first thing that you go to is your calendar. What are you actually doing in your time? What does your day look like? And then where can the shifts start to happen? So I don't actually, when I work with people on this, I don't have them start to create the change first thing in the morning. I have them change it at night. So I'm like, just get up tomorrow and like live your day, do your thing. But in the evening, what could we change at night? Can you please stop answering emails at night? And sometimes, like during the hormone project, I'll be guilty of doing this. And it's like every time I press send and I'm like, it's 9:45. If I send an email right now, then they're going to think that I'm available any hours of the day. And then I'm training the women in my course to email me at all hours of the day and think I'm going to respond right away. I have those like legitimate thoughts. And sometimes there's emails where I'm like, I need to get back to this person right now. Like they're going to sleep better if I get this email out to them. But then I have to ask myself, am I going to sleep? And I'm just being totally honest here. You have to, for yourself, know that like what's an actual emergency where you have to get back to somebody right now. This is for work. This is for whatever's in your mailbox. You need to go through and de-junk everything. Unsubscribe from a crap load of stuff in there because it's wasting your energy. Every time you get a notification, every time a company sends you an email, that takes some of your time. That if you were to actually total up how much time you spend, even just glancing at something before you press delete, it is minutes upon minutes upon minutes that turn into an hour or more a day just deleting what you don't want to see in your inbox. So maybe that's where you can begin. So getting off the phone, huge time wasters, getting off the phone at night. What is your bedroom environment, okay? Is there any little bit of light that's coming in? If all you did tonight was have all the light out, get yourself a sleep mask. I like the ones that kind of sit off the face a bit so that it's not like pressing your eyelashes in. That little thing. Honestly, you have no idea how much this is going to help to restore your circadian rhythm and your melatonin. A lot of you who have been sending me your Dutch hormone results, you're very low in melatonin and you're higher in your oxidative stress. When the oxidative stress level is up, this you would see as the 8-OHG in your urine in the Dutch and in your C-reactive protein in your blood. This is a biomarker in your system that's telling us that DNA and cell damage is already happening. It is already happening on a cellular and serum level in your body. That is a huge red light. That is the universe not just tapping you. That's the universe like, hello, something has to change. We can't just talk about this anymore. Something has to change. You putting this eye mask on at night, as soon as you block that light out, you are going to reset the communication to the pineal gland, okay? Or pineal, whatever you say. Every time I say pineal, I'm like, am I about to say penis? So the pineal gland, okay? As soon as light hits through the eye, all the way back to the pineal gland, your body automatically says, cortisol, I need you to stay out right now. I need you to stay secreting. Melatonin cannot be produced if your cortisol is still elevated. So you could be sleeping at night, but if you have street lights coming through, if you have the light from the bathroom coming through, a night light from your children, electronic lights around you, your eyelids are not blackout blinds. There is still light perforating through that is going to keep you slightly wired. Will wake you up in the middle of the night. You'll never fully get into that deep REM sleep, so you don't fully heal. You'll toss and turn. This is huge, okay? So that one simple thing of totally blocking out any of the light, that is going to help to reset that circadian rhythm. So can we edit life in that one way? Edit out the distractions in the bedroom. Can you sleep in fewer clothing, tank top and undies, or nothing at all, to keep your body temperature cooler? The cooler we keep your body temperature, the more grounded we keep your hormones, the better and healthier it is for your thyroid and your thymus, the more supportive it is for your immune system, and the better balancing it is to help to lower the cortisol and to produce more of your melatonin. These are like free things that you can be doing. I'm not talking about supplements right now. I'm not talking about going to a gym. I am talking about literally wearing less clothing. You also might brush up against your partner who also has less clothing. You may end up having sex, which is also super beneficial for your immune system, for your nervous system, for your hormones, right? So once you do this, you get to bed earlier, you're sleeping with darker, blocking out, you're sleeping in fewer clothing, you're maybe getting some action, because orgasms are extremely healing for your body. And the problem is for women is that if you are so stuck up here, ain't nothing gonna happen down there. So maybe you need to read some trashy novels before you go to bed. Get off your tablet, because there is nothing trashy happening on Instagram and Facebook. That is in fact just gonna keep you more up top here and prevent anything from happening anywhere else in your body. So you might need to read some trashy novels. I'm not even kidding about that. And then the next day when you wake up, like, what can you do in the morning? Tell me some of the things that you have started to do for yourselves to move more towards simplicity in the first 30, 60 minutes of waking up in the morning. Share with me some of the things that you have started to do that you were not doing before. Meditate. Wonderful. What else? Stretch. Love it. Hot water and lemon. Amazing. Love it. These are all like simple things. Low cost. Don't have to go anywhere. Anybody else want to share anything? Prayer and read. Write in my 5-minute journal. Love it. Ladies, I'm telling you, if you don't have it, get it. So simple. So simple. Awesome. These are all amazing. And how do you feel doing that one thing for yourself in the morning? Not all of the things, that one thing. How does that make you feel? Do you feel proud? Do you feel calmer? Like, tell me, how do you actually feel? Because I think sometimes this is the problem too, is that we start to do these things, but we don't like share that we're doing these things. And we get stuck in this place where, you know, we think that unless it's a really big thing, it's not worth sharing. And I think that that feeds back into this whole feeling of not feeling enough. Centered and ready to face the day, more ready to handle the day. This is it. This is it. This is what I want you to be vibrating, is that you are ready to step into your day and that you feel more calm and that you feel more centered. You know, it's like that the littlest thing you do for yourself, it's like every day you wake up and the first thing you do is you give yourself a gift. It's like the first thing you do is you are telling yourself that you love yourself, right? But like I was saying, I see it now where, you know, I'll give a couple of different examples. So let's talk in an exercise environment. Unless you're, you know, smashing goals, you're setting personal best, you're creating like PRs, personal records, you're not being recognized. Your name's not up on the board. You're not getting the star beside your name. No one's chatting about you. You're not sharing it on media because you're like, oh, I'm just like, you know, I'm just going working out. I'm just like doing my thing. I'm not very strong there, but you know, I just go and do my thing. You're moving your body. Like, that should be celebrated, not just the big things. What about, you know, I'm sleeping better. I have less gas and bloating. I am getting through the day without losing my fucking shit on my whole family. I am, you know, committed back to my prayer and my meditation. I'm taking my supplements every day. I go for a walk outside. I drink water. I haven't drank water and I don't even know how long. I'm only drinking 1 coffee a day. But no, unless it's like a victory on the scale, my pants are a smaller size, this like really massive thing, we lose sight of these NSVs, these non-scale victories. And you have to get to a place where you can start to celebrate and high five yourself for all of these small, consistent things that you are doing. Simplicity will never be found in the big stuff. The big stuff, in my opinion, creates more complication. You have to start to edge your way into this and just like bit by bit start to incorporate it. You know, you come into a program like this and you're given this 10-week protocol, and some people, because they had already done work beforehand, there are some of you in this group that this was like the thing that you were just waiting for. It's like you had been doing all of your homework, all of the foundational work, all the groundwork, and then you just were like, I feel like I just need something to like pull this all together, and this program arrived in your inbox and you were like, this is it. And you were ready to go. And then there were those of you that read it and you're like, God, I need this so bad right now. I have so much going on in my life. I'm not sure if I can do it, but I need it. Everything that she's talking about, this is me. Like, I need this in my life. And so you said yes. And you've been able to do a little bit of it, but you still have a lot happening in your life. So maybe you haven't been able to do all of it. And then there's those of you where you're like, God, I am not anywhere near being able to do this, but I feel like I'm reading about myself. I need to do this. How am I going to do this? There's no way I can do this. I'm just going to sign up because I don't know when this is going to happen. I'm going to take a spot. I'm just going to sign up. And then you get in it and you stay on for the first class, the second class, maybe you do your first follow-up and then you pull back and you're like, holy crap. I did not realize how much I had to do. And you get this like analysis paralysis and you just totally pull away from it. And you're like, next week, I'm going to start next week. And then next week comes and you're like, I'm going to get myself organized this week. And then I'm going to begin next week. And then next week comes and something happens and you're like, next Monday, it is my week. It's my time. And listen, it is all good. Like, everybody is starting at a different part of their own personal chapter. And that is what I love so much about the group versus doing just strictly one-on-one, is you get to see that, you get to appreciate that, and it helps you to feel better about where you are at with your progress and whatever step and chapter you are on. Now, how do you move forward? How do you elevate where you're at? How do you get to that next step? You don't stop doing the things you've already started. So as you're trying to create this progress into more simplicity and ease, it's not going to be, this like massive jump into the next phase. It's going to be adding like one more little thing. But again, not letting go of this morning ritual that you've started for yourself, or the evening where you've put it in, whatever it is. It's like, that's just now part of your routine. And now you just add a little bit more on. I am 23 years deep into adding on to my health journey, and I don't ever see it ending. I never look at this taking care of my body as a short-term goal where there is an end date, ever. I'll create small dates along the way of little things that help to motivate me to maybe kind of get to the next level of fitness that I want to achieve. Or, I learned something new in research or data, or a study comes out revealing that foods that we thought were good for us have been contaminated with, glyphosate and Monsanto products behind the scenes. And I make a change for that. But even doing this for a living and being so passionate about this, can't do everything all at once. And I never choose big, huge, gregarious things to start, ever. Because I'm also a businesswoman. I am also a mom. I am also just a human who gets overwhelmed just like everyone else. And I know that if I take on too much, more than I can handle, I will just feel crappy that I'm not getting it done the way that I had envisioned it to happen. So I have just learned, set the bar real low. And then when I do good, I'm like, oh my God, Jen, you are so amazing. And then I have times where I know I need to dig a little deeper than what I am doing and what I'm allowing myself to show up to. And I just like literally have a pep talk with myself. And I'm like, girl, you need to pull up your friggin' big girl panties and just get her done. And you just need to show up. Doesn't matter how it is, like, just show up and make something happen. And what I've learned and what I know and what I work on with my clients and mentoring people and coaching is that if you just start to do something, I promise you more good is going to come on the other side of it. There are some people that started this program and they only did watch one class and that was it. They did not stay with this. And it's okay. It's okay, because I just trust and know that at some point the universe will re-deliver the message. The content is there for them forever. And you can't begrudge the person who's just not ready yet. The fact that they, click into something like this, if they even read about a program like this, is huge. It means you want it. It means you matter, but you're maybe scared. You're scared because Sometimes it can be scary to have a consultation. It can be scary to understand what your blood work is telling you. Ignorance is bliss for a reason. When we get to just kind of go through our life tickety-boo and think everything is fine, there are some of you in telling you your results where I was like, I am going to be loving about this, but this is your holy shit moment. I need you to sit up and pay attention, because I can see biomarkers. I don't diagnose things. It's not what I do. I am trying to get your attention for you to understand what your own personal data and what your own personal voice is telling me about what's going on in your body, and that we can start to see some degenerative things happening in your system that don't need to be happening. But if we can just meet it where it is, not like knock it over. If we can just meet it and be like, hey there, I see what you're trying to create. I know that I am like a huge part of this, but I just want to let you know, like, the buck ends here. Things are going to change. And that's what I'm trying to get you to all understand, is you need to meet your body where it's at, not avoid it and walk around what's going on and try and get on the other side and over supplement it and overtrain and ignore it or whatever else it is. Meet you where you are at and then start from that place. It is always a process that is 10 times slower than anybody ever wants it to be. We all want the thing that we want, how we want to feel, the way we want to look, the changes to happen right now. All of us do. We'd be lying if we weren't like, oh my gosh, if I could have that tomorrow, that would be amazing. But the problem is that you would never learn anything. You would never feel the difference. You would never know what it feels like to not feel awesome and then feel like a little bit better, and then recognize that you're not complaining about that thing anymore. And then, oh my gosh, I can do this or have that and I actually feel good. I got through a whole day without a nap. My hair is not falling out anymore. My eyebrows are growing back. My acne is not so bad anymore, whatever that may be. And you just start to little by little by little move towards just a different lifestyle and way of being. I would say that if I look back over, even the past years of running the Simplicity Project course, which is a 6-week course, and nobody gets consults in that, but it's really, it's my foundational course. And I think about the Hormone Project too. I would say probably like 60% of the people who come into it, they take it on and they do it in some shape or form. It might be like 50% of it, 80%, rarely. Like, there's always a couple keener wieners in the group where you're just like, whoa, I'm like, wow, you are doing the program better than I live, and I'm teaching the program. You'll always have that. And they're great teachers for me too. But for most people, they use the initial 10 weeks as an information gathering process. So they show up, which I also want to applaud all of you for showing up to class every week. Like, you have shown up to a soul appointment with yourself every week for over 2 months. 2 months you have stuck with coming to the class. That's amazing. Like, when was the last time that you did something for yourself like that and that you actually looked forward to it? I mean, I hope that you on Mondays, your energy is different. I hope you look forward to this class Monday night and you don't dread it. I hope when you get off these calls that you have this calm vigor in you where you're just like, yes, I am excited for this and for, the things I am shifting and how I am going to be feeling. But some of you come in and you do that. You just take in the information, but you're not ready to implement. And that's okay. So how you transition out of this course and into the rest of, your life, the next X amount of weeks and months and years and so on, is you have a couple of options. The first thing that I would say to you is get real with yourself and ask yourself, did you follow the protocol? Did you do your 2-week liver period of cleaning things up? And did you actually do it? Did you spend 6 weeks putting your adrenal care on the top of your priority list? Not being perfect, but was your adrenal care at the top of your list when you were thinking about what you were doing and saying yes to and eating and drinking and all of those things? And then did you spend your last 4 weeks really focusing on your digestive health and having this, better sense of connection to how food makes you feel, good or not? And if you sit back and you're like, no, I didn't really do it much, and I didn't start doing any of the workouts, or I didn't get to watch any of the masterclass series or any of that stuff, then your answer for the next 10 weeks is you do the 10 weeks you didn't do. You step back into that place of being a student. You can go through it in faster than 10 weeks. You could listen, people binge watch Netflix for 8 hours a day sometimes. You could do this whole course in less than that if you really truly wanted to. I don't recommend doing it all in one day. Sorry, there was just a really weird geese call outside. All the geese are leaving our water right now this time of night, going back to their actual home. Anyways, so you could do that for yourself and space it out however it feels good for you. The other thing is that some of you are joining us in the next round that starts on October 1st. I don't know if you guys remember this or not, but I open up 5 spots every single time that I do this course for any alumni, anybody who's done this course before, and you come in and you only pay 50%. And how that works is I don't actually charge you for the course again. You get to come in. Now, every time I run the course, I run it slightly differently. The weekly classes, the topics might be the same, but what I teach you, how I teach it to you, the examples, never the same, because it's all based around truly who is in the group at that time. If I have more people that are suffering from endometriosis, candida, those types of things, I will shape shift how I'm delivering the information to be more focused towards that group of women that I am working with. So really all you're paying for that 50% is you're just covering my time of getting another 2 consultations and time that I spend into reading any new blood work that comes in or any other results, emailing, that type of stuff. So we have, I think 2 of you have already signed up for the next round, which starts October 1st. And the reason why would you do it again is if you want to have another couple of consultations, to be honest with you, and be part of a group again for another 2.5 months. So we go until the end of November, the next group, Monday nights. It's 7 o'clock Monday nights moving forward next time around, and whole new series of masterclass with brand new guest experts in that. And so you have choices. Either you just do the program that you signed up for that you didn't yet have a chance to do, or you join us again and do it that way. The other thing is what else haven't you explored in this? Some of you messaged me about maybe doing some acupuncture, doing some traditional Chinese medicine. We've got a lot of you connected with really great functional medicine doctors or naturopaths and kind of taking the next steps of your health that way, doing GI mapping or bioidentical hormones, shifting off of Synthroid onto a naturally desiccated glandular form of a thyroid medication. So, there's 30 of you. Nobody is on the exact same path by any stretch of the means. And, one of you in this group, Erin, had this really great post on Facebook about this program, and I loved it because she hit the nail on the head for everything that I would hope that would be the feedback people would talk about coming out of this course, which nothing was mentioned about weight. Nothing was mentioned about the outer appearance. It was, I decided to take charge of my health before I'm sick. I've changed our household cleaning products for my family. We are buying more organic than we were before. I have cut out my coffee, my sugar, my alcohol, all these things that probably lots of people reading were oh my God, how are you even living? Do you have fun in your life anymore? Those types of things. She just had this way of communicating it. I shared it on my timeline, and I'll ask her to share it in the group where I was just yes, these are the things that I want you to be focusing on, because these are, when I talk about these daily, small, consistent steps to start to take and do, the impact of drinking out of glass instead of out of plastic, changing your detergent that you're washing your clothes with to something that does not have carcinogens, which are cancer causing, things that don't have estrogen mimickers that are destroying your thyroid tissue, that are contributing to the leaky gut syndrome, getting rid of your perfumes, getting rid of your Febreze, using essential oils instead, starting to take supplements that your body literally craves and desires every day, like the soil needs its nutrients outside to grow flowers and fruits and vegetables and trees. You are part of nature, and your nature requires nurturing. And she just had, and it was a very simple post, but just so concise on this is what matters. When we are talking about living our best life, about having optimal health and well-being and longevity and vitality, we are not talking about having a size 2 ass. We aren't talking about having a 25-inch waist. We're not talking about weighing 150 pounds. We are talking about how in the hell does your body function every damn day when you wake up? How do you feel? I don't care what you weigh if you don't have energy and your hair is falling out in handfuls. I don't care how much you can back squat if you have such bad inflammation afterwards that, you are wincing your way through it. I don't care about any of those things. I don't care how beautiful your meal looks if you suffer from reflux and constipation and heartburn afterwards. We got to bring it back to what those basic things are. And, you might be at a place where your level of stress feels insurmountable right now. And to look at the stress is the thing that's going to take the longest and the hardest to heal. And there might be trauma. There might be some past experiences. There might be some stuff that's coming forward that just feels too heavy. And so you might begin by, okay, let's start on the things we can touch and the things we can see instead of all the other stuff. So you do, the purge of the home and get rid of the plastics and get rid of the chemicals, and you change over that stuff, and you do the good job at taking your supplements, and you get out in the fresh air every day, and you do some stretching, and you get more hydration, and you just start to taper it in and do what you can do and do those things. And then when you're ready, you start to move towards that part that is the part that has to kind of be worked on next. But you do it in your own time. There's no rush for any of this. It's hard sometimes. I'll tell you, I work in an industry where so many of us are talking about timelines, sign up and do it for this length. And, here, I don't give guarantees. I just don't. I don't believe in that. I can't be responsible. My program can't be responsible for you committing to something. How can I guarantee that something's going to work if you don't work? Right? You're not willing to put in the work. How can I say, and I guarantee you're going to achieve this and you're going to feel like this and you're going to lose that? I don't post before and after pictures of the people in my program because it's not what I'm focused on. You know what I'd love to see? I'd love to see the before picture of the woman who looks like a shell of herself, super unhappy, and maybe some inflammation as part of that unhappiness, to the woman that is smiling and radiating. I don't need to see her in a bikini. I don't need to see what her body looked like beforehand and after. Yet you'll see when we talk about programs like Rock Solid Booty, that's a totally different paradigm. And I know the women that are going to join Rock Solid Booty, they're in it because they want a better looking ass. They want a stronger backside. And so again, as a business, I have to shape shift my marketing, my advertising around that. But in who I am, I want to work with the women who want to work from a place of that core desired feeling. It is what I'm a nutritionist. I'm a women's hormone expert, but what I actually do is I hold space for us to just be real about it and to break through some of the big barriers that are holding us back. And I need simplicity just like everybody else needs simplicity. And I think that when we hear simplicity, we think that that means it has to be simple. That's not what simplicity means. Simplicity is about minimalism. It's about having less, but feeling more abundant. It's about doing less, feeling more. It's who do you have to be to feel the way you want to feel? And if you look into your calendar, if you look at your phone, if you look around your home, if you look to the people you're spending the most time with, are those things aligned with how you want to feel? If you have severe estrogen dominance right now and there's lots of issues going on and you're still going to stay on the birth control pill and you're still going to stay on some of the medications and you're not taking the supplements regularly and you're still drinking out of the plastic bottle and you're still using the chemical tampons and pads, but then you're telling me that you're frustrated because this, and that isn't changing. I can't do anything to change that for you. There's not another supplement that I can give you. There's not another food that I can take away from you or add in for you that is going to replace what you actually have to do, which is to remove some of those things, to, change up the sources of some of those things. I can only give people so much magnesium and rhodiola and ashwagandha and holy basil and adaptogenic herbs and vitamin C and all of those things to help to support you and to buffer. But if at the end of the day, your stress and your overwhelm is coming from other things, you have to do the work on working through those other things. You've got to do some energy healing. You need to maybe talk to someone. You have to do some Reiki. I mean, I would say, God, more than half of my sessions with my clients now, they aren't about food at all. They're not. They're about the things that are triggering them. And how can we best support your body as we're making the lifestyle shifts and transitions? And sometimes it happens quickly and other times it happens slowly. And most important thing is, as you are starting to do this for yourself, is not judging yourself along the way and not feeling like, you are enough. You are all more than enough and you are all doing enough. Only you can define for yourself what enough is. So don't allow the scroll of images coming through your phone or on your computer to make you feel whether or not you are enough or you're doing enough. Don't feel like you have to be on a leaderboard in order to be celebrated, or that you have to be losing the weight, or all those things I talked about. You are doing more right now than the majority of the people are anywhere. I say this in every class I teach. I don't care what it is you do right now. You did the hardest pose ever, which is you got yourself through the front door and you unrolled your mat and you're here. Do you know how many cars are driving by us right now while we're sitting here in this class, right? And I'll say this in the studio, like, you showed up for yourself. So as far as I'm concerned, anything else you do above and beyond this is a bonus. And sometimes when you show up for yourself, you're going to knock it out of the park and you're going to feel like yes. And other times you're going to be like, oh my God, I'm just glad I showed up. So just keep showing up. That is my ultimate wish for all of you moving forward out of this program, is please just keep showing up. You need some homework. You need to come out of this session tonight, and in the next 2 days, you need to sit down and brainstorm for yourself. What is it that you want with the relationship with you, not with anyone else? Like, what type of relationship are you building with you? How do you want to feel with you? What are the things that you want to do that's just for you? And don't let time be a constraint. Don't let finances be a constraint. Daydream. Like, just actually take it all from inside and push it out onto the paper. It doesn't matter how silly it sounds or how unrealistic you think that it is. Like, you want to take your whole family and move to Costa Rica for a year and live off the grid, and you're like, there's no way that could ever happen. Don't say that. Put it down on paper, because you never know what life is going to hand you. We always think about this from the negative. You never know what life's going to hand you. You could get hit by a car walking across the road tomorrow. You could get diagnosed with something. Why aren't we saying you never know what life's going to hand you? You could, win a trip around the world tomorrow. You could be gifted X amount of dollars. You could have this and this happen. We always go to like, never know, and then the negative. How about you never know and like all the positive things that could happen? You are steering your manifesting powers and abilities every day. And energy flows where attention flows. So what the heck are you putting all your attention on? Because what you're focusing on is going to expand. So start to focus on better things, okay? Start to focus on better things. Pull cards if you need to. Do the journaling. I don't care what you need to do, but you need to start to focus on better things. And that's your homework coming out of this last class. I want you to brainstorm. And if you want to share it in the group, share it in the group. I am doing this for myself right now because it's my birthday in 3 weeks. And every time that I come upon a new year, I am like, I feel it in me. Like my body is just, like ready to peel off like a snake, like peel off this kind of layer of like, thank you so much for this last year, but like there's things I'm ready to step out and to shed of, and I'm ready to come into the new year. But I know I can't step into this next level of me and this year of my life if I'm still wearing last year's skin. I gotta like take it off a little bit. And sometimes when you do this, you might not recognize yourself with this new skin. People in your life might not recognize you. It's okay. Don't stop because you kind of throw people a little bit. Keep leading by what feels good, what feels a little bit scary, where you might even feel a little bit uncertain, and just keep doing that thing. Okay? Is this like connecting with you? I want to share with you before I forget too, this like really delicious, really quick little recipe. I'm going to sip on it until some of you answer me that you're still here. This is connecting with you. One of my GPSs in my system, how I know when I'm like in that seat of it, I sweat like a mother. I cannot, when I'm teaching workshops, I cannot wear anything colorful. I cannot wear like pastels. I would honestly have sweat marks from here to here because my internal thermostat just like goes through the roof, and I don't suffer from hyperhidrosis, but like in the moment when I'm like in it, I am just like, you know, I need to like go take a downer because I am up here. I'm so excited for all of you. I'm so proud of all of you. I'm so excited for all of you. I'm so honored that you all said yes to this program, but yes to yourselves. Like, God, I wish you could all, when we get off this tonight, sit for a moment in silence. Don't get off and just like whip your headphone off and go back to your family. Just like sit quietly, close your eyes, and actually take in like what you just gave to yourself for the last couple of months. It's massive. It's massive. You need to teach the people in your life that you love that you matter enough to do this all the time, in some form or way. And I will tell you, like I said, I created a very cozy island for myself and just stayed in my own lane and focused on what felt good for me in an unapologetic way. And little by little, people started to ask for a ticket to my island. And I am not saying I'm perfect, because holy shit, I am far from it. I learned this by spending time with different girlfriends, with different mentors, with different colleagues. I surrounded myself with people who I didn't even know, but I was just watching them from afar. And I was like, frig, I want some of that. How do I get there? And it has been, I think it's been a lifetime, to be honest with you. I think if we all look back far enough, we've been kind of, you know, you look back even in your childhood and beyond, like we've all been on this journey for a really long time. And I'm really happy that it is connecting with you and that you are hearing some of this and maybe hearing it, you know, in a different way. And again, I just think as women that we don't have to be so strong all the time. We don't always have to, you know, look like we have it all pulled together. I was saying to my energy healer today, you know, it's sometimes just easier. People say to me all the time, like, oh, you just, like I said, you got it all figured out. You're perfect. And there's so many things I want to say, and people say that. And it actually, like, to be honest, it hurts my feelings because I'm like, no, and stop putting that pressure on me. Right? Like, stop putting that on me that's what I project, because then it feels like that's what I have to uphold. And it's, you know, we have to talk about this more often, because when you do, you give other women permission to also be real about it in a constructive way. It's not constructive to just bitch and do nothing. It's constructive to like talk about it, to like move through it, to create a cathartic experience, but then have something that you're moving towards so that you can move away from feeling that. Oh, good. Oh, I love aha moments. Yeah, we do it all the time, right? We do it all the time to ourselves. And it's, you know, it's something, like I said, I am still working on it. I'm still working on it. You know, I will tell you, last kind of like a little bit of vulnerability before I share this delicious recipe and we get off tonight, is that, you know, as a practitioner, I think you can go one of two ways. I think that you can show up like you have, you know, all your ducks in a row and everything is perfect, because you want to like sell that. You want people to think like, I got it all figured out. And if you work with me, you too will have it all figured out. And then there's those of us where it's like, I don't have it all figured out, but I'm probably like a little bit further ahead than the average person. So let me just share where I'm at, and let me share the knowledge side of it and how we can like help and support and grow along with one another. You know, I selfishly run these programs because it helps to remind me every single time that I do what our greatest purpose as women and mothers in this world actually is. And I just think that the more that we link arms together and we support one another, we create this platform for all of us to rise up, that there is no competition, to let go of that FOMO, that fear of missing out, and to just become more deeply aligned to like what is going to serve you best right now. And you don't have to justify why, to just like lead from that place. Okay, so tonight, I teach on Monday nights, and I was like starving, and so I had dinner, but I was still hungry after, and so I was like kind of craving something, and so what this is it's unsweetened almond milk, and I did it in a shaker cup, and then I poured it in here. So it's unsweetened almond milk, it's a scoop of chocolate protein powder, tablespoon of Dandy Blend, a heap of cinnamon, a little bit of collagen, and some water and ice, and then I just shook it up and I poured it in here. It's so it's like, I mean, I don't drink coffee, but it's got like a chocolatey kind of like iced coffee kind of taste to it. But there's no sugar in it, and it's delicious. So when you're craving something, almond milk, Dandy Blend, chocolate protein powder, collagen, water, ice, that's it. And you just shake it up and have it. So yummy. So this is like 30 grams of protein in here. About 2.5 grams of fat, because there's a little bit in the almond milk, gut healing properties, blood sugar stabilizing and anti-inflammatory, and a source of bitters from the cinnamon. Amazing for the liver, for the Dandy Blend, a little bit of fiber from the chicory, hydrating, and really freaking good. So I'll post that in the group tomorrow for you guys, but that was delicious, and I'm going to finish drinking that. Okay, so that is our class tonight. I feel like that was an awesome conversation that we had, and I am so looking forward to my follow-ups with all of you over the next couple of weeks. We are keeping the Facebook group open. So I keep the Facebook group open for quite a period of time afterwards, because I love the community that gets built within there. What you'll start to notice as time goes on, though, is I won't be doing the daily post after the next kind of couple of weeks. So make sure you're following me on Instagram, and so that you get those daily posts in that. And then if you're wanting to join us again for the next round, message Vanessa, info@jenpike.com. And she messaged me, and I think we have 3 of those alumni spots left. So you can just send it out to us that way. Oh, you're welcome. You are so, so welcome. And please remember, if there's anything that you want me to review before your follow-up, please give me a couple of days. If you send it to me the day before, I probably will not be able to fully look through it. So make sure that you do so beforehand. Have an awesome rest of your night. It has been my absolute honor taking you through these last couple of months. And like I said, I can't wait to chat with each of you individually. Have a great night.